You dressed up all nice. Do you have a show today?
Look at you, not even putting on a jacket. Oh, all right.
Hold on a second. This shot's way too tight. Just hold it. You keep talking, everybody.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It's going to be that sort of, you just leave it. Just, okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. We have got Game 71. That's something you're supposed to check before you go live.
Well, you were distracting me.
Which
beforehand.
I'm not sure if we see anything in the comments about that.
No.
But
they'll say right now that the shot looks better.
I really hope that we do. I'm Sara Lesky. He's Jamie Thomas. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. It is an early show, obviously, today, with it being a 2 p.m. start here at Canada Life Center with the Jets kicking off this 4-game homestand against the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, Buffalo played yesterday in St. Paul, Minneapolis, losing 4-1 to the Minnesota Wild. It seemed like every team in the Central Division won last night or yesterday afternoon as well. So Sabres coming in, they are dead last in the Eastern Conference, which is stunning to me considering the roster that they have.
Such a shame. You know, the Sabres have such a great fan base. It's a great hockey market. They have not made it to the postseason since 2011.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You think about that. And the Jets weren't here.
I hope, because you remember, so I'm going to the NFL. Remember when the Buffalo Bills got back in the playoffs for the first time forever in the celebration? It was like, that's what it's going to be like, I think, when Buffalo finally gets back in. It will not be this season. A long way to go, but just so much talent on that roster. I know Tage Thompson was out for a considerable amount of time. That probably hurt them a little bit, but it's still stunning to me that they are where they are in the Eastern Conference.
So they will not be in the postseason. We do know that, but the Winnipeg Jets, we know, will be.
Yeah.
And they have the opportunity to clinch a playoff spot today. So
yes. What's
1 point. Here's your scenario. 2 different scenarios in which they could clinch. First one, they get at least 1 point in this game against Buffalo. Mm-hmm. If they do not, then if St. Louis loses to Nashville in any fashion,
right, then
Winnipeg clinches. This is the second meeting between the Sabres and the Jets. Winnipeg won the first one in overtime back in December in Buffalo. And these games, as much as you look at the point differential and the standings that exist between these two clubs, these games are often very close on the score sheet when you look at these two clubs meeting up.
Yeah, and especially with the amount of firepower both teams have, there you have yourself the opportunity or the chance of a high-scoring game. But the way Jets obviously defend well, one of the best defensive team in the NHL, but they've been tight regardless of where Buffalo's been in the standings. They've always put up a pretty good fight. Before we get into things, we don't have any matching clothes today, but we have these Karicha Puck and Zamboni plushes are 50% off, available at any of our Jets gear booths located throughout the concourse. 50% off. These lovely. This guy looks like Peter Puck, but a little bit like that. So those 50% off at the game.
Perfect for an afternoon game. Expecting a lot of families to be here with it being a 2 p.m. start. So mentioned that this was going to be the start of a 4-game homestand for the Jets, longest homestand that remains in this regular season. Eastern Conference teams making up the vast majority of it. So you've got the game against Buffalo today. Washington in town, top 2 teams in the league. Obviously, Alexander Ovechkin, with his race to beat Wayne Gretzky's mark, which actually Wayne Gretzky surpassed Gordie Howe's record on this day 31 years ago.
Sorry, I'm just adding your name to the thing. I feel bad.
No, I didn't notice.
Well, what people don't know that you are taking. Someone did point it out.
And then the Devils are in town, and then they close out with Vancouver. So a great homestand. If you have the opportunity to be able to get down here to Canada Life Center, you definitely want to be able to partake in it. Obviously, so let's set up this game quickly here when we go. Obviously, no morning skates for either team, with this being one. The projected lineup we are anticipating for the Jets would be no changes from what we saw. Luke Schenn did not take part in practice because he was allowed to go home to Nashville to see his family. So,
what a great thing by the Jets. So,
tremendous.
Haven't seen them. 3 young kids back in Nashville, of course, his wife there. So it's really nice for him to have that opportunity to go back home, because we've talked about it a lot. It's been a whirlwind for him since he got traded and hasn't had that opportunity. So the Jets had some time. Missing 1 practice is going to kill Luke Schenn. He's been around the league a long time. So I think this will do more for him and certainly the team, the opportunity. So it's just great move by the organization.
And as for starting goaltenders, because I already saw someone in the comments, like, what's the matchup in net? Although Scott Arneal's line was that you're going to have to wait and watch warm up. Tell me if you've heard that one before.
Mike McIntyre asked the question.
He tried. But it is anticipated that it'll be Eric Comrie that gets the start, although we'll have to wait until 1:30 in order to get solid confirmation on that. But that is the belief. As for Buffalo, because they played yesterday in Ukko-Pekka
Lokinen.
So good.
That's great.
It's our favorite name. It's UPL. But hands down.
I wish they were in the West so we could say it a lot more.
He played yesterday against Minnesota. It is expected to be James Reimer. Today, no Sam Lafferty. He's likely out with groin injury. Yesterday, Buffalo went with 11 forwards, 70, ended up down to 10 because of Lafferty's injury, 10 forwards. Jack Quinn was a healthy scratch. He's usually in on their fourth line. He was held out for disciplinary reasons, having missed a team meeting. Expected, I would presume, that he will be back in the lineup today.
Okay, so as we mentioned, Buffalo played yesterday afternoon in St. Paul. Winnipeg is 6-0 when a team comes into the building, having played the day or night before, thanks to Kelly Moore from CJOB on that one. So the players were asked about their record and the fact that Buffalo played yesterday, and is there an advantage at all? We'll start with Dylan Sandberg.
We're at the top of the league, and everyone that comes in is going to give us their best game. So we've been dealing with it all year. We just got to prepare the same way, and know that whatever team comes in, they're going to give us their best. So we got to make sure we give them our best.
They shoot the puck a lot from a lot of areas. They've had their struggles in other parts, but to me, yes, they play in Minnesota today. We know where they are in the standings, but that area for us as a group, we've had it all year long where we've got teams coming in from back-to-backs from other places that it really doesn't matter who the opposition is and how they play. It's what we need to do, and that first period tomorrow for me is big. Us coming off a three-game road trip from the West Coast is we got 4 at home here. Take care of our business, and it's what I'm going to say to the group tomorrow is that let's focus here on us being really good early on and give them a reason not to want to play.
Scott O'Neill wrapping things up there. So the first period will be huge for the Winnipeg Jets today. I've been coming back from that long road trip. Fortunately, they were given a couple extra days. Day off on the travel, get back on Friday. Saturday, they practiced, and then, of course, playing the game today. Cole Perfetti.
Yes.
Career highs in assists and points so far this year. And, it's just that second line has really taken off, especially after the Four Nations face-off. So I asked Cole, there was a conversation between himself and Scott O'Neill in the offseason. And I remember talking to Cole about this during the summer and how important that was. So I asked him about what it meant to him and how it's helped him have a lot of confidence throughout this season.
Confidence is everything. And when you have a coach come in and tell you that, after, probably some thoughts in your head about, being scratched and stuff like that, like it's not great. So to have Arnie come in and call me throughout the summer and tell me, instill his faith and confidence in me, that does wonders for a player. And, came in feeling great about myself and about the game. And it's great when a coach, kind of gives you his confidence and makes your confidence go through the roof too.
And he's certainly played like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Since January 24th, so obviously just before the Four Nations break, 18 points in 21 games. He had just 2 points in his previous 14. So he has been rolling. The chemistry between those three, it's great to be able to see it pay off.
Right. And then, but you think of all the chances they've had. Like that's the other thing. They're playing well, and we can talk about how Cole got a couple goals on that road trip. But you go back to all the chances that they've had. You just think when they start going in a little bit more, how much that's going to help this team. So it's a great sign that both the top two lines are producing and are playing well as the stretch drive continues here and the Jets try and lock down Central Division. So another question was asked yesterday was about, is it important to finish the top of the standings? Mm-hmm. Cole Perfetti said, yes, of course you want to be the best of everybody. And then Scott O'Neill reiterated what we've heard a lot. You want to eliminate 8 teams in the Western Conference, but the most important thing to him is not about the President's Trophy. It's about winning the Central. And then we'll talk shop after that happens. So we've talked about that a lot, about how important that is. So you look at the Western Conference standings, and Winnipeg continues to have an 8-point lead on Dallas for first place in the Central. Dallas does have a game in hand after they won yesterday too. Colorado won and a shootout over top of Montreal. Minnesota, we talked about. St. Louis won again. So it's as you see, Minnesota and St. Louis are occupying the 2 wildcard spots. So if the playoffs start today, it'll be Winnipeg and St. Louis in the opening round of the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, that wildcard race is, I think, something, since I'm not as intrigued, to be honest, by the standings in the Central Division, because look, have the Jets clinch first? No, But I think that obviously all signs are pointing towards those being the top 3 teams and probably the order for them. So for me, the intrigue is really what's going to happen in that second wildcard spot. Who's going to be that first opponent? But the Jets hitting 100 points, they became the second team to reach 100. Washington had done it earlier in the day. On Thursday, they had 110 points last season, 114 points in 27-18. Need 5 more wins in their final 12 games to set a new franchise record. So things continuing to go. I'd like to see a little bit more offense. The chances are there. I'd like to see a little bit more offense from the Jets. Everything obviously tightening up a bit, but you look at their goals, their average per game has gone down. Before Four Nations, 3.61. They were first in the league. Since Four Nations, about middle of the pack, 2.86. Understandable considering everything's tightening up a little bit more, but still, when you're sitting first, in the West, you can deserve it. You can be a little bit picky about stuff. I'd like to see a little bit more offense.
Well, the offense. I think, Sarah, where the offense is missing right now is the power play was not very good on the road. No, and there was Kyle Connor talked about the game against Edmonton. They had a chance to put the game away in the third period, and nothing came out of it. They had a 5-on-3 that didn't even, I think they got one shot. Or no, they didn't generate one shot for a minute and 3 seconds. So we are getting real picky in that department. I believe the power play is rated 30% right now. It hasn't been under 30% pretty much all year.
Yeah.
So,
but as always, you look at what they've been doing recently as opposed to the overall number.
You
it's
have
great
to go
see
soon.
So many of you in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I have to step out for a moment. It is a TSN broadcast, so I've got to go do a couple of things, and then I'm going to hopefully be able to return for the end of this. I will be watching the comments, so if everyone could please try to keep JT in line here.
The best part is, though, I'm not even really going to be talking. I'm going to sit back and watch because earlier this week.
He said it, not me. He said
earlier
it, not
this week,
me.
I'm not doing anything.
I'll be back. I do have to step out.
She's doing something. I'm doing nothing. Okay, Sarah's going to talk with Scott Arneal, so maybe she'll have some insight a little bit more that she can't really share, but maybe we'll share. Maybe we do some head nods. People can ask us questions. Earlier this week, we talked to a couple of guys, Miles and Archie. They are based in Australia. They have this great Twitter page on YouTube and, of course, on TikTok. And they pretty much lip sync to play-by-play commentators. You're going to enjoy this video. It's a great interview. We talked to them earlier this week, so here's that conversation. The show, Miles and Archie, the Shepmates. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here today, and we're really excited to have you on. Really love your guys' work. It's hilarious, it's fantastic, and we've really been admiring it here for a little bit. But the question I have to start things off is, how did this all begin? Like, how did you guys make a career out of this?
Oh, it's pretty wild, isn't it? Jamie and Sarah. Yeah, this is just insane. The fact that we can hop on a call from Australia and be talking to you guys in Canada on a pre-game show. Yeah. I didn't think this would be happening, that's for sure. It happened a few years ago. It felt like luck, I think. We were making videos on TikTok and we got to like 10,000 followers. And then I thought it would be funny to do a lip sync commentary to one of the cricket commentary calls that had happened that day. And I was just at my desk job, and there was no TV around. It was only the radio. So I was listening to the commentary, and I just got so engrossed in this commentary moment. And then I went home and recorded it and made the video and didn't think much of it, and woke up the next day and it had blown up on social media. So I think the next few days I just made like heaps of them, and Archie got a bit jealous.
Yeah, I joined in. Whenever there was two commentators, I'm like, can I get in the video, Miles?
And it just worked better having two of us in it. So now we've just done like heaps of sports and moments, and yeah, here we are.
It's probably one of those things you don't find out you're good at something until you actually do it. So we've been doing it for a few years now, and who would have thought we'd be good at lip syncing commentary? It's ridiculous.
Well, I love how casual you are about it. Oh, I just went home after work one day, tried it, and it blew up on social media. I want to know, because the lip syncing is impeccable. Both of you. Good. It's so good. How many takes does it usually take on the average for something like that?
Yeah, well, it can take.
We need to have an answer to this question. We get asked this so many times, and I feel it sort of changes depending on the commentary. Like some of the long ones take a long time to get down pat, but then there's like some short ones and they don't take too long. But yeah, I guess it's just listening to the commentary over and over and over. We'll write it up on the screen as well, just so that we're reading it as well. And then I think the hardest part about it's probably like the spacings between, like if there's like a long pause, like how do you like nail, you know, the re-entry of lip syncing when there's a pause. So we've sort of come up with our own little systems on how we can nail it. So
but you're right, it has to be perfect, because if that's not right, I feel like the rest of it doesn't even work. Like if you can't get the main bit perfect.
L'Empoli e 4 dei nostri in barriera. Bairami il tiro, gol di Bairami. Leao prova a mettere questa palla in mezzo, salta Rade, gol! Ballo! Ballo senza respiro, ballo che si gode tutti insieme.
And I look at what you guys do, like play by play, as you guys have probably come to know here, is probably one of the hardest jobs in broadcasting, because of how, you know, they have to be live in the moment, but to be on the spot the way you guys are. So the reason why we brought you on, there's this great video of you guys imitating Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer on the Edmonton Oilers radio network. And it's the Battle of Alberta call, and it's a big fight between the goaltenders. And, you know, the Battle of Alberta is something that Sarah and I have grown up to watch a long time ago. Now it just came back a little while ago. So how did you guys stumble across that video, and how fun was that one to do a hockey video, which I'm sure doesn't pop up very often in Australia?
You're right, Jamie. It was the most, when I saw the clip, it was one of the most ridiculous scenes I've seen happen in sport. Because here in Australia, you just don't see anything like that. Like we got Aussie rules football.
Especially the goalie fights, right?
They're goalie fights. Like, what is it, a boxing match or is it hockey?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? You know, and the way Jack Michaels commentated it, it's like he knew that there was going to be a boxing fight, and he was like, right hand, left hand. It's like, go and commentate boxing, Jack. Like, it was so fresh for us, because here in Australia, like you can get suspended for weeks just for looking at someone the wrong way. Like that's the climate of sport over here. So then for us to get on socials and see two blokes throwing haymakers at each other, like it was just like I got a rush of adrenaline watching it, and then let alone the commentaries just elevating it to another level. But we get people sending in that sort of stuff daily, and I think we started to amass a bit of an American Canadian audience.
Yes,
and we started getting clips from over your way, so we sort of see more of that stuff now, and that was probably one of the first main ones we'd had from your sport.
Okay, because that's
who
what
was
I
in the background throwing punches, by the way? Which one of you guys was doing that?
That was
me.
Bob stuff?
I had a bit of a longer mullet back then, but yeah, 1-2's going.
And then Miles, your toque falling down on the top of your eyes when you came in. That's the Battle of Alberta we've been waiting 3 decades for. And when the toque fell down, like my wife and I were dying. We watched it 100 times because that part is so funny, but it's just so good.
Stuff like that happens during our commentaries, especially when you get late into the piece and like the headphones are falling off. And it's like, I can't stuff this up. I have to keep going. I'm too far into the clip to stop. Like I couldn't say anything, but I'm like, I got to keep going and finish this.
What do you guys look for in videos? I mean, you said that you have people that send you videos that they would love to hear you guys lip sync to. But when you're looking or deciding which ones that you want to record, what is it that you look for?
It's a good question. I mean, we do get a lot of people sending in, it might be like a YouTube link or just like sharing a video that's going viral on socials. So we'll check the DMs, and there's a lot of stuff there, but we do definitely filter it. I think
is there a certain sport that you like doing, or is there some aspect of the call that you two find you gravitate towards?
I think it has to tick, like it can't just be a big moment. It has to tick a few different things. Like visually, I have to be able to see us making the video better. If I feel like we can't make it better, then there's no point doing anything to it.
Pacers down 3. Halliburton's got the ball. Halliburton rises up. Hits a 3 and is fouled.
You have got to be kidding me. This is almost like the spread option in football. They had 4 offensive players in the backcourt. And Tyrese Halliburton coming off the screen here and right in the grill of Giannis and right in front of Damian Lillard, who's on the bench right now with a chance for a 4-point play. You don't understand the degree of difficulty on this shot. He is going left, Brian, and had to shoot back right
with Giannis on him.
Video we saw, my wife and I saw yesterday, was you guys going head to head with the IOC, because you guys did a great video on Ian Thorpe, with one of the greatest swimmers in Australian history. When they finally beat the Americans, you guys did that video and you're like, screw you, IOC, we're doing this video anyways. That to me, because we Sarah and I both work for national networks, we know that we understand the ruling behind you can't show this video after 24 hours. You can only show 30 seconds of each sport and how ridiculous it is. But like, how long did it take the IOC to come after you guys after you post that video? Because that's a great moment in Australian sports history.
They're pretty quick on it. To be honest. They
Make a mental note, everybody. They're very quick on it.
They're like hawks. I feel like they've got like people scrolling, looking for any mishap. Like, the email notifications were up when we woke up the next morning. That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, is it just they take it down, or they take it down?
Yeah, they'll give you like warnings as well. They'll say, take it down. This is your last warning. Otherwise, your account's banned. Or we've had some like big issues in the past with that, where we get no warning at all. We sort of had an inkling that the IOC would get involved with us during the Olympics, but we've had issues in the past with like the Cricket World Cup, where something massive would happen and we did a video on it, and then the next day our account got like frozen for like 24 hours and the video got taken down. But the video was massive. And then we came back and we actually reached out to the organization and said, this video is awesome. Let's do a collab on your account so that we can pass the rules. And we came back a day later and collabed with the organization, and the video went massive. So we're sort of finding ways around it.
All right. It's us. We're back. Welcome back. How are you?
Doing well.
Okay, so that's Miles and Archie.
Yeah.
They're Shepmates. You can follow them on Twitter. The one video I do want to show you guys, I'll throw it up here right away, is the Battle of Alberta video that I was referring to in the conversation. This is it.
Redirected behind Talbot, poked in by Gagne, but it's going to be waved off. And now Talbot lands a couple of shots on Gagne.
Yeah, there's history. There's history between Giordano and Gagne.
Goes after Mark Giordano and hit him twice, and now he's being held from behind. And now we've got a wild scrum with fights breaking out all over the place. Mangiapane and Jason. Giordano has Gagne wrapped up, and Matthew Tkachuk and Ethan Bear are going to drop the gloves. Bear belts him with the right hand. Tkachuk counters with a straight right. Right hook, Ethan Bear. Left jab, Matthew Tkachuk. And now we're going to have a goalie fight. Bear throws a right hand. Here comes Cam Talbot and Mike Smith. They're going to go at center ice. Talbot short with a right hand. Smith, three clubbing right hands. Right hand Talbot. Big right-handed shot from Mike Smith. This is the Battle of Alberta we've been waiting for 3 decades.
So literally, they make a career out of this. That's the best part of it. So we are going to send some Paul Edmonds,
which I think
audio.
would be fantastic.
They'll do a great job on that.
Yes.
They said they would work with us on that one. So it was a great interview. Very cool how they pulled this off.
Yes.
And they have a massive following. And they said after that that NBA video that we put up, Reggie Miller followed them after that. So that's pretty cool. So they're doing a great job, and looking forward to seeing what they do with Paul Edmonds' magic.
Yes.
After this. So welcome back.
Absolutely.
How was your conversation with Scott O'Neill?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Be able to catch that on the TSN
Yes.
pregame show. So it was great. Unfortunately, can't share any.
Of course you can't.
No.
I thought you would do something. Can you blink?
That's
if
right.
I ask questions.
If it's maybe we could do, those of you old enough to remember Carol Burnett with the ear tag as a signal to people. Maybe that's what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, great feedback. It was so nice of them to join us. Great job with that. And I think that it'll be interesting to see whether or not they can do some more hockey. The lip syncing's fantastic.
Yeah, just the Jack Michaels one's really good, but I can't. They did promise that they'll work with Paul Edmonds' audio, so I can't wait to see that. And of course, video we'll have to throw in there as well. We'll see how that looks. Jets are taking on the Buffalo Sabres here this afternoon. First game of a 4-game homestand, trying to clinch the playoff berth, which is the whole idea of this whole thing when the regular season starts, and of course Central Division within grasp as well. But man, it's nice to have them back. It feels like they were gone for a very long time.
It does feel like it, and I love that they're back for a 4-game stretch too, because this is then everyone can enjoy it for a little bit back here, get into the rhythm. The guys can be home for a little bit.
Yes.
Which will be nice as well for them being back in the friendly confines of Canada Life Center, but also around the families and everything before you make that final push at the beginning of April for a couple of weeks, and then what is hopefully a long playoff run.
Yeah, and I think we didn't really get a chance to get into it, but that win over Edmonton was a lot happened in that game.
Yes.
Like Edmonton didn't have Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Then they lose Connor McDavid after like about the third period. Then they lose Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of things went sideways for Edmonton in that hockey game. But the key part is that Winnipeg had to win that game.
Yes.
And they had the lead, gave it up in the third period, then of course go on to win in overtime, and a beautiful shot from Kyle Connor. Like just an unreal release on that one. And it was a fantastic game for Josh Morrissey. JMO always seems to bring it in Edmonton. I don't know what it is about Alberta, but of course his hometown is Calgary. That probably has a lot to do with it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they have here to start this 4-game homestand with some pretty big heavyweights coming here on Tuesday and Thursday.
Absolutely. One thing that Scott Arniel said after the game in Edmonton was that he thought it was a little bit sloppy. With respect to the power play, which you and I were talking about earlier, they'll find it. It's just part of sticking with it. It will turn for us. We were able to see the success, obviously, that it had early on in particular. So, with the firepower that they have, that things will eventually turn around with it. Going into today's game, as mentioned, final game in this season series between the two of them, Buffalo having played yesterday. 27, 35, and 6 is the Sabres record this season, 60 points a season for Winnipeg at home. Their home record, one of the best in the league, 25, 5, and 4. They have been on a real tear, lost just 2 times in regulation in the last 22 games at Canada Life Center. So looking forward to a good one here today with no morning skate. It is just projected lineups. So we'll wait to see whether or not there is anything.
Okay, so who's starting at goal? Tell us.
That I don't know, but I think the assumption is that it's going to be Eric Comrie.
Blink twice.
Knows,
okay, we're not. I could get
no.
in trouble.
So, but the expectation based on what we saw yesterday in practice and even projected lines that have been put out is that Eric Comrie probably gets the start today. This afternoon, especially when you look at what's coming up this week in terms of the opponents.
There's a strong chance that Comrie plays 2 games on this homestand.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many games he plays down the stretch. Maybe that's something we can talk about this week as well. Not just for, that rest versus rust sort of comment. We know that given a choice, Connor Hellebuck would play every game if he could, but how do you plan things out the rest of the way? Maybe that's something that we can talk to either Wade Flaherty or Scott Arniel about as this week goes on. Flats certainly would know.
Maybe
as would the guys.
Flats should show us a schedule just one
time. That would just be wonderful, wouldn't it? It would make things so much easier.
That we need.
Exactly.
After they gave you the access at the trade deadline.
And it is believed that James Reimer will start for Buffalo. What a season the Manitoban has had in terms of he was signed with Buffalo, got picked off of waivers by Anaheim, then brought back to Buffalo off of waivers, leave again. And so with Buffalo having played yesterday, it is believed that James Reimer will get the start here this afternoon.
All right, let's wrap things up here because you have a show to do and
I do.
I've got a game to watch. I got to eat breakfast.
That's really what it comes down to. Let's be honest. He really just
busy.
wants food.
Yeah,
everybody. We love to see so many of you watching. Love to see so many of you in the.
Like holy cow, lots of people watching here today. So I hope you guys had a great time watching the show.
We will be back to our regular time on Tuesday. That is 12:30 Central. As always, you can catch us on YouTube, X, and Facebook.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Oh, don't forget to hit subscribe, thumbs up, like, heart, smash.
Yeah.
All right.
You're the best, everybody. Enjoy the game today.
Have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for spending some of it with us. Thanks for checking in.